3 weeks after my wife's funeral, I opened her laptop to cancel a subscription. That's when I saw a message pop up. It said, "Did you find out you're still alive?" My hands froze on the keyboard, because the woman they were talking about was my wife, the same woman I had buried with my own hands, and in that moment I realized something terrifying. Either someone was playing the cruelest joke imaginable, or the woman I loved had been lying to me for years, and what I discovered next made me question every single memory of our marriage. 5 years earlier, my life felt simple. My name is Ryan. I was 31, working as a civil engineer in Denver. My routine was predictable: work, gym, occasional weekends with friends. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary. Until I met Lena. It happened at a bookstore. I was reaching for a novel on the top shelf when another hand grabbed it at the same time. We both laughed. She said, "You can have it." I said, "Only if you promise to tell me how it ends." That tiny moment turned into coffee. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a relationship that felt almost unreal. Lena had this energy about her. She noticed everything. The way the sky looked before a storm. The smell of rain on pavement. The quiet songs playing in the background of restaurants. Being with her made ordinary life feel cinematic. Like we were the main characters in our own movie. Within a year, we were living together. Our apartment was small but cozy. Plants everywhere. Vinyl records stacked by the window. Late night conversations about our dreams. She wanted to open an art gallery someday. I wanted to design bridges that lasted longer than a lifetime. We supported each other, encouraged each other. Loved each other. Or at least, that's what I believed. 2 years later, I proposed during a camping trip in the mountains. No audience. No cameras. Just us, a quiet lake, and a ring hidden inside my backpack. She cried when I asked, actually cry. And when she said yes, it felt like the most certain moment of my life. Our marriage was not perfect, but real. We argued about small things. Laundry. Bills. Who forgot to buy milk? But we always made up. Always found our way back to each other. And that's why what happened next makes absolutely no sense to me. Because if someone had told me then that Lena had secrets, I would have laughed. 3 months before everything changed, Lena started acting strange. It was subtle at first. Late phone calls she took outside, random errands late at night, and once I saw her quickly close her laptop when I walked into the room. I asked her about it. She smiled. "Just work stuff." I believed her, because why wouldn't I? She was my wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone, but I wish I had known the truth sooner, because those small moments were the beginning of something much darker. Then one night, something happened that I still can't explain. I woke up around 3 a.m. Lena wasn't in bed. I walked into the living room. And saw her standing by the window, talking on the phone. Her voice was low. Urgent. Almost scared. When she noticed me, she ended the call immediately. "Who was that?" I asked. She hesitated. Just for a second, then said something strange. "Wrong number," at 3 a.m. But what happened next, I never saw coming. A few weeks later, Lena told me something that shattered my world. She had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition. According to her doctor, it was serious, potentially life-threatening. I remember the hospital room, the quiet beeping machines, the way she held my hand so tightly it hurt. "I didn't want to scare you," she whispered. My chest felt like it was collapsing. Because suddenly the small weird things made sense. The late night calls, the secretive behavior, doctor appointments. Medical tests. I felt guilty for ever doubting her. Over the next 2 months, her condition seemed to get worse. Hospital visits increased. She looked weaker, more tired. Sometimes she'd just sit silently, staring out the window. I tried to stay strong, but watching someone you love slowly fade away breaks something inside you. Then, one morning, I got a call from the hospital. Lena had collapsed during an appointment. Cardiac arrest. They tried everything, but they couldn't save her. I remember dropping the phone. I remember screaming, but after that, everything becomes blurry. The funeral was small. Rainy. Quiet. I stood there watching them lower her coffin into the ground. Thinking about all the plans we never got to finish, the gallery she wanted. The trips we planned, the life we were supposed to build together. It felt like my entire future had disappeared. 3 weeks later, I finally had the strength to go through her Things. Bills. Subscriptions. Accounts. Normal stuff. Her laptop was still logged in. When I opened it, a messaging app automatically loaded. And that's when the message appeared. Did he find out you're still alive? I stared at the screen for a long time. My brain refused to process it. Then another message appeared. Your funeral was convincing, but you can't hide forever. My heart started pounding so loudly I could hear it, because suddenly, something impossible started to make sense. I opened the conversation history. Hundreds of messages. Between Lena and a man named Marcus. And what I read next changed everything. They had been planning it for months. The illness, the hospital visits. The fake diagnosis, even the funeral. All of it. Staged. And the reason was written in one chilling message. After the insurance pays out, we'll finally be free. My wife hadn't died. She had faked her death. To collect life insurance and disappear with another man. But the story didn't end there. Because when I kept reading the messages, I discovered something even more shocking. And that's when everything changed.
Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with new stories every day.
Buried in the messages was one detail that made my stomach twist. Marcus kept asking Lena the same question. Are you sure Ryan won't investigate? And Lena responded with something terrifying. Don't worry. Ryan always trusts me. Reading that sentence felt like someone punched me in the chest. Because she was right. I trusted her completely, and she used that trust against me. But there was something Marcus didn't know. I'm an engineer, and engineers notice details. Like how the hospital documents she left behind look slightly off. Wrong formatting. Different logo. At the time I assumed it was just different paperwork. Now I realized they were fake. So I did something Lena never expected. I went to the police. At first they were skeptical, but once they saw the messages, everything changed. Insurance fraud. Identity fraud. Multiple crimes. Suddenly, this wasn't just a broken heart. It was a criminal investigation. 2 months later, they found her. In Mexico. Living under a fake name. With Marcus. Apparently, they had already started spending the insurance money, but they didn't get very far. Both were arrested, charged with fraud and conspiracy. The strangest moment happened during the trial. I hadn't seen Lena in almost a year. When she walked into the courtroom, our eyes met. For a second it felt like time stopped. This was the woman I loved, the woman I married, the woman who convinced me she was dying, the woman whose funeral I cried at, and yet I didn't recognize her anymore. She tried to apologize after the trial, tried to say it started as a mistake, said Marcus convinced her, said she never meant for it to go this far. But the truth was simple. Some betrayals go beyond forgiveness. Today, 3 years later, people still ask me how I didn't see it coming. And honestly, I ask myself that same question. But love does something strange to your mind. It makes you ignore warning signs. It makes you trust when you shouldn't. And sometimes, it blinds you to the truth standing right in front of you. But the craziest part of the story, the insurance policy she tried to steal, because of the fraud investigation, it was completely void, meaning she risked everything, her marriage. Her freedom, her entire life, for absolutely nothing. And sometimes I sit there thinking about that message I saw that night. Did he find out you're still alive? Because in a strange way, that message saved me. It exposed the lie. And finally showed me the truth about the woman I thought I knew.